Terence Crawford loses in the Errol Spence Jr. fight. Huge. This, according to a boxing media outlet that pointed out that it is time for Terence Crawford to fight Jaron Ennis because all of the momentum that he had beating Errol Spence Jr. is leaving the room very, very, very fast. Now, let's talk about that and go into detail in that a little bit in this video. SHIT, or get off the pot. That is something that I think applies in life almost everywhere. You got to strike while the iron's hot. Strike while the iron's hot. I think that may have been a phrase that was used when you're branding cows. You put that brand in that fire, and then it heats it up, it turns red, and then boom, you hit the cow with it, or the whatever you're branding, the animal that you're branding. And so the branding stays. If you wait for it to cool off, it's not going to do anything. And that is, I think, what boxingscene.com, and I'm shocked that they wrote this article, or maybe it was Boxing News 24. Please forgive me. I'll put the site in the description. Was referring to when they say, look, man, Terence Crawford needs to fight Jaron Ennis right now because he is really, really blowing it. Now, why would you say that? I would say that they're saying that because, look, man, you're not going to fight Errol Spence Jr. You're not going to fight Danny Garcia. You're not going to fight Keith Thurman. Who are you going to fight, man? Nobody's interested. There's a rumor going on around about Bud fighting Madmarov. Nobody wants to see that fight. Nobody's interested in that fight. Madmarov may be a better fighter than David Avanesyan is, but wasn't nobody interested in seeing him fight David Avanesyan. Ain't nobody interested in seeing him fight Madmarov. People want to see in the area that Terence Crawford is from, which is the United States. They want to see him fight a fighter in the United States that they think they got a shot, not somebody that may have a shot, but don't nobody know who he is. Now, what does it mean? What am I talking about when I say, come on, man, you got to strike while the iron's hot? I think Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. lost a lot of money. And why I say that is opportunity cost. When they did not fight earlier and faster in 2022. Back in 2022, if those guys would have fought, this is just my belief. If Errol Spence and Terence Crawford would have fought in July of 2022 instead of July of 2023, I think that fight very well may have done a million pay-per-views, because that fight was much hotter. People were much more interested in the conversation. People hadn't been pump faked about it. And there also wasn't another major fight that took place right before theirs, which was the April fight, the fight that took place in April between Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, which did 1.2 million pay-per-views. So took a lot of the steam. They took a lot of the steam off of that fight by waiting so long. So now we are in the month of April. And that fight between Errol and Terence, where Terence was at the height of his career. He was getting the most positive press you could possibly get. He had just beaten Errol Spence Jr. He had become the undisputed champion. And what takes place? Crickets. Crickets and a bunch of naming people that he will not fight in what I consider to be a bit of a prima donna tour. You have now May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Come on, man. That's a long time. Did I count that right? August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. I'm sorry. That's 9 months. I knew I must have messed up. Terrible accounting. That's 9 months. 9 months with no fight announced at all. Now, what is going to take place after this? Now, since there's no fight announced, now you're going to talk about a fight that, hey, man, he'll probably go out another year outside of the ring. That, in my opinion, is too long. That is not striking while the iron is hot. Get out there and fight. I think that Gervonta Davis is somebody that's doing that very, very well. Gervonta Davis is active. Even though for some strange reason you'll listen on Twitter and you'll hear people ask you questions on YouTube, at least I do, about why Gervonta Davis is not an active fighter. Gervonta Davis fights twice a year. I think the only time that he did not fight twice a year was in 2020, and I think that was related to COVID. I think he had, and during COVID, a lot of dates got funny. And so he's a very active fighter, and he has continued to grow because he's keeping himself in front of people, not on YouTube, not on Fight Hub and Fight Hype and this channel talking about you and other channels talking, commentary channels talking about you, but he's actually out there fighting and having people see them fight. You got to strike while the iron's hot. And this is not something that Terence Crawford couldn't have done himself, but Terence is trying to, I think, being penny wise and pound foolish. But at the very least, since he's not fighting Tim Tszyu, that fight is not going to take place next because he lost to Sebastian Fundora. Sebastian Fundora is probably not going to fight until December because of his broken nose. So because of his broken nose, which is 8 months away from now. So you're allowed looking at 17-month layoff if it's for Tim Tszyu. Madmarov, that ain't nobody really interested in, and more than likely, it's going to be on the zone where people can't see you anyway. I don't believe all of this. He's in Saudi Arabia. He's going to make so much money. Why? If he can't make the same amount of money with other promoters, why in the world would people from Saudi Arabia be paying him all that money? Well, because they're dumb and they just like burning money. You know them. Nah, dog, I don't know them. That stuff sounds stupid to me. But definitely, in my opinion, he definitely should just fight Jaron Ennis. Now, Jaron Ennis is going to more than likely going to get another fight in soon. Cody Crowley is what people are saying the fight that people are saying is taking place. I've heard from some sources that say no, Cody Crowley's going the WBC route, and not going the IBF route. I mean, to me, Cody, that doesn't make sense that Cody Crowley would not fight for a championship, even if he, going for the WBC instead of going for that IBF as a mandatory, ain't nobody going to believe him, man. But anyway, hopefully he'll get that fight on. But after that, fight Jaron Ennis, because that really is the fight that most people want to see Terence Crawford in. And that probably does include the fight with Errol Spence. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.